Hi guys. So today I'm going to talk about black holes. It seems everyone's interested in black holes. This is a really complicated topic, it's complicated science and a lot of research going on. So I'm going to do my best in my simple understanding of it to explain it to you simply and correctly. A black hole is a point in space with immense gravity. The gravity is so strong that nothing can travel fast enough to escape, not even light. If you think about throwing a ball up in the air on Earth, the ball will go up, slow down, and come back to you. That's gravity. If you could throw the ball fast enough, it would go up like a rocket and it could escape our gravity and carry on going into space. But for a black hole, nothing goes faster than light, and light isn't even fast enough to escape. So, to understand black holes, it's best that we look at how they formed. And to understand how they formed, we need to look at stars. So, a star has a life cycle. It is born, it lives through its life, and then it dies. A star uses hydrogen fusion as its power source to emit all that light and that heat. But through its life, it uses up its hydrogen. And towards the end of its life, when the hydrogen is finished, it starts fusing helium. This creates more heat, the star expands, and ultimately the heat and gravity fuse this helium into carbon. And the core of the star becomes carbon, and then the star becomes to cool and shrink in on itself. A star the size of our sun would ultimately end up a shrunken white dwarf star. And all that material that was expanding around it will float off, creates a star cloud. This is called a nebula. The process is not very dramatic, but nebulas are very beautiful. You can look them up online. If you took a star, say 4 or 5 times the size of our sun, then when this process happens, at the point of the carbon, because there's much more heat and much more mass and much more gravity, instead of carbon forming, the fusion starts producing iron, and you end up with an iron core. Now what happens is the star starts collapsing on itself, but imagine iron, it's much heavier and there's much more mass and much more gravity collapsing on itself. It would be like, imagine the Earth was an iron ball and you had to shrink down the Earth to the size of just a city, get all that iron into that small space, and in a second. That collapse creates an enormous amount of energy and heat, and there's a huge explosion. This is called a supernova. It's very dramatic, also very pretty to look at, and I'm sure a little scary if you were nearby. So we have this iron core that's left over after the supernova, and it has intense gravity and it is spinning like crazy. We call it a neutron star. Now we picture a star maybe 20 times the size of our sun. All of that mass and that gravity and that power is much more immense. And the result of the death of that star would be a black hole.